There was a big slash across her arm. The blood continued to drip as she sat in the car. Wine's right hand man urged her to get a treatment or at least stop the bleeding. Yet, her eyes remained on the window. The view outside, the bright lights of the city, the billboards of her boyfriend. He was glowing. People stopped before them and clicked pictures. In one, he was a model for a clothing brand. In other, he was acting for a cosmetic brand. The others were promos about his upcoming concert, or just headlines about how he was the star of today's world. He brought wine peace, and yet brought out the darkest side of her. Once the car stopped before a building, she stayed inside. 30 seconds later, a man rushed to the car. She didn't look outside, but a smile appeared on her lips. The door opened and closed, and then her arm was held very gently. Jackie, what is this wine? Why are you hurt? He demanded, pulling out a handkerchief, immediately placing it over her wound to stop the bleeding. Jackie, what were you all doing? Could you not stop the bleeding at least? He argued with the guards, glaring at them and then turned to attend Ryan. The worry in his eyes and his whole attention on her was all she ever needed. Ryan, don't be mad. It's nothing serious. I should be fine with some stitches. As mad as he was for now, he kept it to himself and had a doctor attend Ryan. She ended up getting double stitches. Apparently, a dagger was dug deep inside of her by someone. Once they reached home, Jungkook removed his coat and placed his aside. He was still in his modeling outfit, his hairstyle beautifully wrapped in beautiful chains and accessories, while the makeup enhanced his features. She loved so much. Ryan, are you mad? Jungkook exhaled and took a seat. Ryan purred like a cat rolling over his thighs and snuggled her face in his chest. Manipulation was what she learned at the age of 6. In her dictionary, it wasn't even a wrong thing, in fact, a necessary skill needed to survive. And the only time she ever had to use that trick against him is when she wants his whole attention for her. He was famous, he was loved, he had millions of fans. There were too many times one wanted to lock him up and run away. Jackie, I'm not. I'm just weird. Seeing you hurt makes me hurt. She kissed his neck, then his jaw, then her cheek. Ryan, then give me more time so I won't go around killing time this way. Jackie, then join me on the set and my practice too. Like a normal girl, okay? don't freak anyone out. The happiness on her face was of a child getting their favorite candy. She nodded and beamed when he kissed her. Vine grew up alone. The only people around her were her mafia father, the trainer, and her advisor. She didn't know how normal world worked and common people lived or loved. She had her own ways of loving, which was triggered the moment she joined him on the practice. The more time passed by, the more her smile dropped. No one had said him a word, but each time, timing was off, a misstep, or a failure in judgment, had the director cut rudely. Jake, I'm sorry, let's try again. He bowed and took a deep breath, taking his position again. Director, if you keep making those mistakes, the concert is doomed, he said sternly. The trio of them immediately straightened up. The dancer apologized to Jungkook several times. Jake, it's okay, we'll continue and do better. The music started again. This time, they pulled through multiple songs. Then, in between breaks, where Jungkook had to interact with the audience and say multiple dialogues, was the difficult task. One cracked her neck once and dropped her arms. She promised Jungkook not to intervene, but this had crossed every limit of her patience. She quietly walked up to the main music set and pulled off the plug. One, I prefer to go through every opportunity and offer Jungkook receives personally. Director, and your point? One smiled, although her eyes reflected some sort of darkness and malice, which made the director swallow upon her reaching him. JK, wine. Although the main purpose of stuff is to provide mental support to the artist, all I see is pressure and an unacceptable behavior. Wine. If you're unable to understand what the problem here is, I'm sure you will when he's not with you anymore. Mr. Park will be returning home, and once you fix your attitude and the behavior of your team, Jungkook will return. And if something goes wrong with the concert, remember, it will be on the management and not him. Wine. Also, I believe this concert with your agency comes to an end. After this concert, Jungkook will be joining the HNX Entertainment, which clearly stands at a global level. They have been super nice and persistent and promised a lot of benefits. Wine. If you want this last concert to be placed on its expected date, fix yourself. Wine wasn't smiling anymore. In those eyes was a warning far dangerous than what it seemed. When she returned, the director kept trying to stop them. Jungkook was sweet. Jungkook was kind. He could tolerate their behavior and pressure. He was a celebrity, but Wine wasn't. All Wine wanted from him was to know his worth, and if he couldn't stand up for himself, then allow her to. His hold was tight. His kiss was nearly abusive. It felt like he was trying to suck out her soul, and Wine allowed him. All of her belonged to him, to start with, anyways. She gave a playful smile, and Jungkook groaned, kissing her again. His hands pulled her flush against him, possessively holding onto her waist before his kisses moved to her neck. One knew Jungkook didn't want to change the agency. Starting next day, the director acted as if Jungkook was his own son. He was treated so well and with such respect, even Jungkook couldn't digest it. It was a little hard for Jungkook to believe a man like his director changed this much overnight just because he was afraid of losing him. But anyhow, as long as it worked in his favor, he was happy with it.